Hello, Mrs. Rose. Diane is ready for you. Why don't you head on back? The front desk at Cloud9 Salon always chirped. Sounded like a bunch of happy birds. Must have to clean out the droppings from behind the counter each night. She grunted at them and walked past. Though she did like to grumble, the energy in the salon was the perfect tonic. Stylists and clients twittered like birds in springtime. Hang the thought of cleaning out the cages. Abigail Rose would make it spring in her head. In her younger days, she despised places like this. It had all seemed so superficial. When her best friend Beth, and yes, she did name her daughter after her friend, had cancer, Abigail's opinion had changed completely. She and Beth had been friends since the 2nd grade, sitting side by side on a bench in the small Union schoolhouse. When she was in treatment, Abigail took Beth to the salon once a month, though her friend lost most of her hair. It made Beth feel pretty, even as she lost all the external markers of womanhood. Her stylist taught Beth that a woman is a woman from the inside out. It wasn't about hair, clothes, or even her breasts. When Beth died after 5 years of agonizing treatment, the salon had shut down for 2 hours so the whole staff could attend the funeral. The chirping birds had big hearts. "Hey, Mrs. Rose, have a seat. What would you like us to do this week?" Diane shook out the black cape and draped it over her. Abigail wished she could dispense with the cape. The darn things were so hot, and little hair stuck in the neckline by the end of the appointment.
Don't get me started. It isn't like I've got enough hair to do anything with. Just make it less frightening. Father Ben almost ran away last week.
Well, we don't want to frighten off gentlemen callers. I'll see what we can do. Diane helped her get creakily down from the high chair. Abigail gripped her arm, made both grateful and irritated by the support. This aging thing wasn't for sissies. Sometimes she thought Beth had gotten the better end of the stick. Abigail just existed in the weird place between usefulness and death. Her Elizabeth hadn't even provided grandchildren to help fill the long hours. When Elizabeth went off to the convent, Abigail had given up any dreams of grandchildren. But when Sister Joseph Mary became Elizabeth Rose again, hope had kindled in her heart. But the stubborn girl just didn't get married year after year. No grandchildren. Diane leaned the chair back into the sink and pulled up the lever to support Abigail's legs. The warm water running over her hair and the gentle massage as Diane shampooed her hair felt wonderful. The salon had thoughtfully painted a blue sky with fluffy clouds on the ceiling over the wash station. Maybe life wasn't so bad. After Diane finished washing her hair and walked her back to the chair, it was time.
Okay, spill.
Diane's hands moved slowly through her hair. "I don't know what you mean, Mrs. Rose." Diane met her eyes in the mirror, mischief dancing in them. The woman did know how to get a rise out of Abigail. She had to know that the only reason Abigail showed up here was for her weekly dose of stories. Or, more honestly put, gossip. Who knew H turned you into a gossip monger? Abigail did love to dispense advice, and was willing to pay for the privilege of doing it.
"Well, aren't you proper this week? Very well, I shall be as well. How are you doing really? 2 weeks ago, you weren't sure you'd make the mortgage, and things were a little rough at home."
Diane's face erupted into a huge smile. "I think a little bird told the ladies at St. Tim's, because my appointment book is full. The mortgage is safe now." Diane stopped working and held Mrs. Rose's head gently. "Thank you." She snorted. Lord, now she was the one being compared to a bird. Lately she felt like an albatross, not a little bird.
"It wasn't me. Plus, if you left here, they'd never let me out of my house. And how's your young man, Tom?"
"Well, I'm not sure how much longer he's going to be my young man. That church sounds so good at first, but it's like he drank the Kool-Aid and thinks it will solve all the problems in the world. He wants me to stop working here and work at the church to pay for more auditing. I just don't see it. Working here is my life. And together, we solve all the problems of the world.
That's the God's honest truth. You need to be more careful with church. I like my church that I grew up in. If it's lasted 2,000 years, it must be doing something right.
Plus, I wouldn't know anyone anywhere else.
How's your son Jacob doing? I see him sometimes up at the school.
The cut and style continued. The girl was sweet, but she had no idea how to run her love life. The stories alone were worth the $25 each week.